afternoon. I'm Elise Turner, and today we're going to hopefully find a little peace through our quarantine and seclusion. Hope you guys are all finding some form of appreciation. I must be one of the few crazy ones, but I'm loving being in my space and identifying with it in a whole different sense. Kids and I made churros this morning, so try to step out of your comfort zone, find something to do that you wouldn't otherwise be doing, and make the best of it. Today in our practice, we're going to open up a little bit, work through a little bit more aggressive flows. So again, you can take them at a slower pace, but feel free to make this your practice as always. I'm going to go ahead and have you start laying down in Shavasana. So go ahead and find that comfortable position. And hopefully you have some space in your home that you've set aside for practice or for working out, meditation, body space every day. Again, keeping our peace of mind through this time of quarantine and transition. So let's take this next hour, finding that breath, just first filling those lungs. And exhale. One more time. And last time. Now as you just let that breath kind of guide you over the next couple of minutes, coming into yourself, just gently sweeping everything out of your mind, any tension you might have, even positive things, just let it all go right now, being very present in this exact moment and over this next hour. In using these yoga practices each day to step outside of where we are right now, just finding that centered space. Finding the appreciation for the breath. And finding thankfulness for what isn't right now. Saying thank you for the sickness that hopefully we don't have. Thank you for the accidents we're not in. Thank you for the safety of our home. Thank you for all those beautiful things in our life, allowing us to be in this moment of practice right now. And just be quiet for the next moment with our breath. Two more last deep breaths. I want you to take your hands across your body, reaching for those opposing shoulders, kind of reaching and wrapping those fingertips around those shoulder blades. Give your upper body a little bit of a hug. And slowly, as we unwind those fingertips, taking it to a wide T position, palms facing towards the ceiling, draw those heels behind the glutes, knees pointing towards the ceiling, maybe readjust, tilting that spine forward, pressing that lower back into the mat, walking those feet out just to the edges of the mat. Wider distance, and then drop both knees towards the right. Maybe that left
Knee touches that right ankle. Exhale it to the opposite side. Inhale, switch. Exhale, switch. Now again on your own breath, just sweep those legs back and forth a few times, loosening up that lower spine. Again, I know a lot of us are probably sitting right now, working remotely from home. A lot more chair space than usual. Hopefully you have a comfortable seat. Let's just open up those hips and that waist a little bit right now. Transitioning with each breath. A couple more times on each side. And inhale it back to center. Reach those fingertips towards the heels. Draw those feet in a little bit closer towards the glutes. Heel till those feet in and press it up. Beautiful bridge position. Exhale those hips down. Inhale it up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One last time. Inhale it up. Exhale it down. Draw those knees to the chest. Forehead comes towards the knees, pulling into that deep little ball, engaging that abdominal area. Maybe reach those elbows, pressing them into the sides of the quads. Really finding that small space, maybe even getting a little stretch across the back of the shoulders. Inhale, press those feet forward, taking that low position, palms facing towards the ceiling. Take that gaze up to the ceiling, pressing that lower back, reaching it towards the mat, and pulse those arms down, finding that breath. Again. One last time. Knees pulled into the chest. Exhale, extend. Inhale it in. Exhale, extend. One last time, inhale it in. Exhale, extend, drop those feet to the floor. Inhale those arms overhead, dropping down to the mat. Take that full deep body stretch. Again, back is arching off the mat. And exhale those palms to the floor. Heels come back behind the knees. Now we're going to take those legs, wrapping the right over the top of the left, coming into those eagle legs, taking the left arm underneath the right, finding those eagle arms now, kind of like a supine eagle position. Drop those toes and the fingertips towards the floor. Inhale, crunch elbows to knees. Exhale down. Inhale in. Exhale down. Just finding about 10, pulling that belly in. Coming into that core work a little bit here. Even finding that little stretch again across the shoulders. 5 more. And last one, exhale it down. Unwind those arms, unline those legs. Taking that left ankle over the top of the quad. Gently place those palms on the ankle and on the knee. Pressing that left knee away from the body. Getting that little stretch in the hip. And slowly drop that left foot to the floor as that left knee comes across the body. Left arm reaches out to the side. Take that gaze over those left fingertips. A nice rotation through the spine. And bring it back to center. Take that left leg underneath the right, coming back into those eagle legs now. Right arm comes under the left, again switching that side. Exhale, drop toes and fingertips towards the floor. Inhale it up. Again, just taking 10 crunches here in that beautiful eagle position. Finding your own pace. 5 more. And last one, drop it down. Unwind those arms and legs, immediately taking that right ankle over the left knee now. Pressing those palms onto the knee and that ankle, gently press that right knee away. Again, feeling that beautiful stretch through the hip. Slowly drop that right heel towards the floor, taking those knees across the left side of the body now. Right arm drops out in that beautiful T position, palm to the floor. Reaching that gaze over those right fingertips. Again, rotating through the hips as that left hip drops to the floor. Breathe through it. Again, any of these rotational positions, find that aiding the digestion. Again, really opening up through the core, kind of twisting out or squeezing those abdominals and those intestines. Inhale it back to center. Gently rocking through the length of the spine. Just taking it 3 or 4 times. And on this next one, inhale it forward, step those feet back, finding that tabletop position. Wide starfish hands directly beneath those shoulders. Rock those hips back and forth, finding those knees underneath the hips. And then pull that belly in, round the shoulders, down, back, and away from the ears. Wonderful active position, and take it through a few cat and cows. And just arching that spine, drop the belly. Breathe it through. Finding that pace that's right for your body. Again, loosening through that lower back. On this next one, find that neutral position again. Again, wide starfish hands. Walk those fingertips maybe just a few inches forward, finding that modified plank. Reach those hips forward. Exhale it back to child's pose. Just pausing here for a minute. One deep breath, and we're going to transition, finding a little motion again, building that heat. Inhale it forward. Drop through those elbows, taking a little slight press back. Exhale it back, child's pose. Inhale forward. Take it down halfway. Elbows close to the side in that half chaturanga position. Exhale it back. Inhale forward. Drop it down halfway. 4 more of these. Again, belly is pulled in towards the spine. Just finding a little tricep work here. Use that breath. Feeling that heat build in the body. Gaze is towards the floor. Last 2. Inhale it forward. Exhale. Last one through. Inhale it, hold it at that half press. Drop the soles of the feet to the floor. Press up to that upward facing dog. Come up onto the tops of those feet. Reach it through. Exhale, drop those hips down to that full cobra for just a minute. Sway those hips back and forth. Again, release that lower back, making sure those glutes aren't tightened. Shoulders pressing down, back and away from the ears. Bring it back to that center point. Press up onto the tops of the feet again. Exhale it back, finding that first down dog of the day. Pedaling through those heels. Breathe it through. Drop the crown of the head between the shoulders. Deep extension. Inhale up onto the toes. Exhale. Hover those knees down to the floor. Inhale, press back up to down dog. Exhale the heels down. One more time. Inhale, press up onto those toes. Exhale, knees hovering to the floor. Inhale it up. Exhale. Drop those heels down. Downward facing dog. Go ahead and inhale. Let that right foot fly. Pressing through that left heel. Nice stretch through the hamstring and calf. Go ahead and drop that right heel towards the glute. Opening that hip. Maybe take a little peek underneath that right arm. Breathing through. Exhale, let that right leg fly. Sweep it forward to plank. Right knee comes to the right elbow. Press it back. Inhale, elbow to knee. One more time. Exhale, press it back. And drop it down. Downward facing dog. Inhale forward, take it through Chaturanga. Exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, press it back to down dog. Go ahead and take a few deep breaths here. On that next breath, let that left foot fly. Right heel pressing into the mat. Drop down between the shoulders. Release that left heel towards the glute. Take a little peek under that left arm now. And rotating through. Really pull that heel towards the glute. Inhale, coming back to three-legged down dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Left knee comes to the left elbow. Exhale it back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, press it back. Drop down, find that downward facing dog. Find a couple deep breaths here again. Maybe rocking those hips from side to side, pedaling those heels still if those calves are still a little bit tired. Belly drawn towards the spine. Inhale, look between those hands. Walk or jump to the top of your mat. Inhaling, find that forward fold. Inhale, half lift, long, beautiful straight back. Pull it up using those abdominal muscles, airplane arms. Again, long, flat back, press those hips back. Feel that stretch through the hamstrings now. Exhale, hands down, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Slight bend in those knees. Inhale through reverse swan. And we're going to take a fun little transition today. So we're going to lean that body just a little bit forward, pulling up onto the toes. Challenge that balance. Now help that balance again. Press those glutes back just slightly. Finding that balance, not quite a chair pose. Slowly drop it down. Reach those hands forward. Still balancing on those toes. Now again, we're coming in through some large muscle groups here. Challenging those quads, even up in through those glutes, belly, still actively pulling into the spine. Reach those fingertips. Now we're slowly going to set those heels down, rocking back onto the glute, coming to that boat pose. Fun little transition there, challenging. Drop those knees. Reach those fingertips forward. Maybe drop them down so they're parallel with those calves. Top of the shins. Exhale it forward. Inhale, pull it in. Exhale forward. Inhale, pull it in. Feeling that belly. Exhale it forward. Inhale it in. Long spine. Exhale. Inhale it in. One last time. Exhale. Inhale it in. Find that full boat pose. Reach those fingertips and feet skyward. Maybe those legs are shaking, doing a little bit of work. Inhale, set it down, cross those feet slightly, pull it forward, coming back to that chair pose. Big challenge there. Again, feet are close together. Finding that Utkatasana chair position now. Balancing back up onto those toes, keeping that slight bend in those glutes. Reach it back up and set those heels down. Take a slight back bend here. Inhale it forward. Swan dive, reach it. Inhale the half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift again. Use that belly and that core. Pull it up, find those airplane arms, long straight spine. Press those hips back. Again, feel that beautiful stretch through those hamstrings there. Again, also strengthening through that lower spine. Building that strong balance in the core. Exhale, find that forward fold. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale through reverse swan. Exhale it down to chair pose. Coming to twisted chair as that left elbow comes over that right knee. Reach it through, really pull that right shoulder back. Wingspan those arms if it's in your practice. Again, gently rotating through the spine. Inhale it back to center. Reach those arms forward, hips press back. Inhale, reverse swan. Exhale, chair pose. Taking that twisted Utkatasana to the opposite side. Right elbow now comes over the left knee. Rotating through, either holding here, or again, if it's in your practice, wingspan those arms. If it's not, that's okay. Breathe through. Again, pull that left shoulder back. Inhale it back to center. Reach those hands forward. Inhale through reverse swan. Exhale, swan dive forward, forward fold. Inhale the half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Take that gaze to the top of your mat. Roll those shoulders down back and away from the ears. Step that right foot back, left to meet it. Find that plank pose. Half Chaturanga, elbows close to the side. Hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press it up. Exhale it back. Down dog. Breathing through. Beautiful job. You should feel that heat in the body. Lift those hips. Exhale. Drop the crown of the head between the shoulders. Walk or jump to the top of your mat again. Inhaling, forward fold. Exhale, half lift. Inhale, forward fold. Exhale, slight bend, reverse swan. Now we're going to take some breath here. We're going to drop down to that chair pose, sweeping those arms back. Inhale it up. Exhale. Inhale up. 2 more. Last time. Inhale up. Exhale. Open line breath. Inhale. Reverse swan. Slight back bend. Inhale, reverse. Take it back up. Exhaling those arms down to mountain pose. Take a couple deep rotations, rolling those shoulders back. Inhaling forward. Interlace those fingers. Round that spine. Pull those shoulders forward, belly drawn in. Slowly inhale it up. Release those arms. Coming down to mountain pose. Stepping that right foot back, opening to warrior 2. Now again, a big mistake a lot of new beginners make is taking too short of a stance and then that knee is over the ankle. Take a nice wide, deep stance here, making sure that knee is directly over the ankle. torso is using that weight to press through the body. Wide, beautiful arms pulling in opposite directions. Feet are both actively pressing, both reaching into the mat. Inhale through, reverse warrior. Right hand can either travel down that back leg or reach around, binding, drawing for that left quad. Rotate that body forward, reaching through. Inhale, take it back up to warrior two. Exhale down, extended rotating triangle here. Right hand reaches skyward. Feet still actively pressing in both directions in the mat. Inhale it back up to warrior two. Exhale, reverse warrior, straightening through that left leg. Slight back bend here. Inhale it back to warrior two. Straighten that front leg again, sweeping down as we draw to that triangle pose. Now rotating. Now again, this is a beautiful place if you need to either come up onto that shin, or if you have a block, you can use that block. If we don't quite have that extension to the floor, breathing. Inhale it back up to warrior two. Exhale, extended angle with both arms reaching. Slowly drop that left hand behind the left foot. Step it through, side plank. Again, challenging our balance and transitions today. Now, part of these interesting transitions today is we're forcing our mind, as we're in this quarantine right now, to think in different ways, to stay creative, to stay positive. Let that be what our practice is about today. Exhale it down, take it to plank, drop it all the way to the floor, inhale up to cobra. Release that body. Press it to up dog, coming up onto the soles of the feet, pull the quads off the mat. Exhale it back to down dog. Find a couple deep breaths here. Slowly reach that gaze towards the top of the mat. Walk or jump into that forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale through reverse swan. Finding those beautiful movements with the chair arms sweeping back. Exhale. Inhale up. 3 more. Last 2. Last 1. Inhale it up, find that lion open space. Inhale up. Slight back bend. Inhale it back, open slowly, drawing those shoulders back a couple times. Open to that mountain pose. Those postures on the opposite side. We're going to step that left foot back this time, finding that warrior two pose. Now again, check in with that knee. Even as long as I've been practicing, I do each time. Reach that knife edge into the mat. Open that beautiful arm space. Find that drishti focus point over that third finger. Breathing through, press that right knee open. Inhale, reverse warrior. Again, remembering those options, rotate that chest forward. Breathing through. Inhale, open back to warrior two. Maybe readjust just a little bit. A lot of work through those quads.
Inhale, reverse warrior again. Straighten through that front leg. Find that extension. Rotate back through the back. Inhale, drop it back down to warrior two. Again, each time making it an individual posture. Straighten that front leg. Exhale it down, finding that triangle pose. Now again, remembering those modifications. If you need to bring it up onto that shin, feel free. Maybe you need to take it up onto the quad today. Maybe each side is a little bit different. This is your practice. Rotate those hips through, pull that left shoulder back. Inhale up slowly, take it back down to warrior two. Exhale it down to that side, extended side angle. Bring both arms through, hold that, reach, pull through, lifting through that rib cage. Exhale that right hand to the floor behind that right foot. Pull it into that plank, side plank position. Again, remembering these tricky transition oppositions, challenging our mind to think differently. Finding that positivity. Exhale, rotate through that plank pose. Dig it down to that half chaturanga for 4, 3, belly pulled into the spine, 2, and 1. Drop it down all the way. Reach it up, finding that cobra. Rock those hips from side to side. Release that spine. And inhale it to upward dog, coming up off those quads. Exhale, reach it back. Find that child's pose, rock those hips. Finding a couple deep breaths here. Now that heat should be nice and built in the body. Walk those fingertips forward. Find a little more challenge in our practice today. That's okay. Maybe we need this. One more deep breath. And maybe you reach that gaze up towards those fingertips. And maybe walk onto your elbows. Open those knees out beyond your mat. Press those hips back towards those heels. Again, opening kind of in a frog posture, and then gently roll forward using the weight of that body. Maybe you hand walk those fingertips a little bit more forward, using the weight of that torso and the hips to press down, opening through those hip flexors. A lot of tightness going on here this week. Belly still drawn in towards the spine, maybe even relaxing those hips towards the floor. And slowly walking those hands back, protect through those hips, lifting gently first. Again, we don't want to put too much pressure on those inner thighs. Walk those feet and slowly draw those knees back up underneath you, finding that tabletop position. And finding a couple cat-cows here. Get just some gentle transitions in our practice. And one more time. Find it back to that neutral position. Round those shoulders, down, back, and away from the ears. Drop down to those palms, to the forearms, wide starfish hands again. Reaching through here and press those hips skyward, coming to that dolphin pose. Walk those feet in. Now again, we're going to challenge ourselves slightly. These are called dolphin push-ups. So you're going to keep those
forearms flat on the floor. You're going to reach those nose up towards the fingertips and beyond. Exhale, press it back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Now, these are a little tricky. Try 2 more. Inhale it forward. Exhale back. Last one. Inhale it forward. Exhale it back. Step onto that left palm, onto the right, finding that downward facing dog. Again, pedal through those heels. Inhale, let that right foot fly. Left heel reaching for the floor. Go ahead and step that right foot through, come into that low lunge position. And then reaching into that full high lunge, pulling those arms skyward. Press through that hip. Exhale that left palm to the inside of the right foot, rotate it open. Gently revolving, pulling that right knee closer to your chest. Exhale that hand to the floor, taking that weight in that right foot. Catapult that left foot skyward, again finding that standing splits. Breathing it through. Slowly stepping that left foot back. Opening to that warrior 2. And then binding those arms behind the lower back. Coming to that hero pose, drop the crown of the head to the inside of the left foot or just reaching forward. Arms bound still, reaching overhead, that humble hero pose. And slowly lift, unbinding those hands, rotating that left foot through, drop that left knee down. Pulling both hands onto that right thigh, press those left hip through, reach that gaze skyward. Okay, now even maybe you want to take that left palm onto the hip, using that weight, gently draw through. And inhale it back. Exhaling back onto that left heel. Pull that right foot skyward, gently drawing through that belly, coming towards the quad. And inhale it forward. Take those hands on either side, step it back, and release to down dog. Again, finding a couple deep breaths here. Pedal through those heels. Again, maybe waving those hips a little from side to side, releasing that lower spine. Exhale it down. Inhale, let that left foot fly. Step it through, coming to that low lunge, setting up and then releasing, high lunge, pull it through. Releasing down to that hip, rotating as that right heel presses towards the back of the room. Exhale that right hand to the inside of the left foot, rotating through, find that revolving position. Breathe it through. Really pull that shoulder back, rotate through the chest, right heel still reaching to the back of the room. Exhale that hand down, rotating back, open through that warrior 2. Exhale as we bind those hands behind the body, reaching into that humble warrior, drop the crown of the head, inhale those arms overhead. Right knife edge of the foot still pressing into the mat. Slowly inhale it up. And cartwheel those hands down, taking the weight as we rotate that back right foot into the left foot. Step it forward into standing splits. Slowly step that right foot back. Drop that knee down. Press it up onto that quad, release those hips. Again, the right hip reaching forward. Again, maybe take that hand, gently guide through that hip. And taking both hands, pop back up onto that right foot. Step it back to plank, release those knees down. Drop back to that child's pose. Maybe this time pull those knees towards one another. In that child's pose, reach those hands back to the ankles, finding rabbit pose as the shoulders drop forward. Sometimes I like to take opposing ear to the back. A little stretch in my neck here as well. And rotate it to the opposite side if you've chosen. Taking it back to center. Again, just to release that neck quickly. Maybe you create that little intertwine in those fingertips, leaving the pinkies free. Just create that little bowl for the crown of the head, round the crown of the head forward. And then just gently draw a chin towards the chest as we roll forward, using that body weight to lengthen through the back of the neck. Slowly release those hips down. Since we're already in this position, I'm going to have you slowly just bring those glutes onto the heels, sitting upright. Now, if you have a hand towel or a washcloth, this would be a great place to use this if you don't have a strap at home. But we're going to take that right hand around the back, reaching up in between those shoulder blades, taking that left hand back to meet it. Now again, if you've got a towel, grab that towel here, helping you make that connection if those fingertips don't quite reach. Now what we're doing here is we're pulling that left elbow skyward, drawing that right elbow towards the center of our back. We won't reach there, but that's what we're aiming for. Again, to get that beautiful stretch, reaching that ribcage skyward. Maybe you can take that gaze skyward. And if it's in your practice, lean forward again, finding a little bit more extension through that shoulder area. Again, allowing that weight to drop that right shoulder forward. And slowly inhaling it back up, release those hands. Again, respecting there might be a little tightness, so just again, roll those shoulders back. Roll them forward. Shake those arms a little bit, then take that left hand around the back, again, reaching up between those shoulder blades. You may find your flexibility, again, different on both sides. That's okay. Right palm, again, if you've got that towel, switch hands. Reaching back around. Pulling for those opposing fingers. Pull that left elbow back, right elbow reaches skyward. Lift that rib cage and gaze skyward. And if it's in your practice, again, one little deeper stretch through that left shoulder. Drop the body forward, letting the weight of the body press through that shoulder. And slowly inhale it back up. Release those fingertips.
Again, rotate through those shoulders, maybe wave those arms forward and back. Crossing over in opposite directions, shake it out. I'm going to come into a few balancing postures. Now today I'm going to try a little fun one. So you're going to want to come a little closer towards the top of your mat because you're going to need the length of that mat. So I'm going to have you face forward. We're going to try crow, but there's two crow poses, crow and crane. Crow being where we use those triceps to balance. Today we're going to place those palms forward. We're going to use like the armpit and the upper part of our tricep, reaching into that crow pose. So again, come very high on those toes. Now if you're home, again, you've got the liberty of throwing some pillows in front of you to challenge this posture. So again, we want to be close to the edge. We're going to try some interesting transitions here. So we're going to pull up, again, steadying first those knees into the armpit and on the triceps, pulling into that crane pose, reaching the gaze towards the end of the mat, slowly tilting that head forward, dropping it down so we're in that tripod, and then pressing those feet skyward into that headstand. Now a little bit easier to get there. Now we're going to slowly draw those knees back down towards the chest, very slowly to hold that balance. And we're going to kick those feet back, dropping them into a plank pose. So again, we'll try this one more time. It's a really fun transition. Again, get lots of pillows around if you're challenging yourself today. So step back, press it to down dog. We're going to try that again. Again, more core strength than arm strength. Walk or jump back to the top of the mat. Again, placing those hands firmly. Maybe we'll have a good little giggle at ourselves if we're tipping over or falling over. That's totally okay. If we've made ourselves laugh during our practice, we've succeeded. Take those knees again on the backs of those triceps, right where those armpits are. Slowly reach it forward. Pull those feet off the ground in that crane pose. Maybe find just a moment of balance before we drop the crown of the head. Again, finding that tripod. Now maybe you just want to stay here today. That may be totally fine. If you don't want to press up into that full headstand, using that core strength, balancing on hands and crown of the head. If you have journeyed up into that headstand, drop those knees back down, slowly finding that balance. And then press it back, dropping to plank. Roll those arms down, back, and away. Beautiful job. Press it back down, finding that downward facing dog. Now again, drop the crown of the head towards the floor. Feel that deep stretch through the shoulders. Bring it back up. Walk or jump to the top of the mat. Slowly walk those hands around the right side of the body, finding that beautiful twist. Now if you can, place those fingertips, those left fingertips or palm on the floor. Extend that right hand skyward. Again, feeling that amazing stretch. Hello, hamstrings. Exhale it down, walk to the opposite side. Left hand or fingertips this time planted beside the left foot, and that left palm extends skyward. Slowly take it back to center. Slight bend in those knees, take those hands to prayer pose. Right at the chest. Reach that right foot back, just inches off the mat. And then press that leg straight, drawing into full warrior three. Keeping those hands at prayer posture today. And then we're going to unlace, taking behind the back, binding those palms, pressing them towards one another. Slowly rotate that right hip, balancing with the floor. Draw that right foot skyward slightly. Challenging that balance in a tipped warrior three. Inhale, slight bend through the knee. Taking that
Bent right ankle back towards the palms. Reach and release that right hand, drawing into Exalted Warrior. Again, an interesting transition today. Breathing it through. Wiggle those left toes. Make sure you're not clenching the floor. Slowly draw it through. Knee comes to the chest. Take that yogi toe hold with that left hand. Slowly extend that foot forward. If it's in your practice, right palm comes back towards the back of the room. See if you can reach that gaze around. Slight bend through the knees, sweep that hand through, drop it down. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale through half lift. Exhale, swan dive forward. Peek up, holding that position. Take those hands to heart center, coming on to that opposite side. Lift those toes for just a minute. Wiggle them out, replant. Take a slight bend in the knees, press that left foot back, hovering off the mat. And then straighten that leg, popping up into that warrior three. Hands still at heart center. Slowly interlacing those hands behind the back. Find that bound pose. Coming through that tipped warrior three. Lift that left leg slightly. Keeping those hands bound. Challenge that balance. Find that breath. Make sure you're not holding it. Deep flex through the left foot. Inhale it up. Slowly bend that left heel towards the hands. Release and pop up to that exalted warrior. Wiggle those left toes. Make sure you're not crunching the mat. And slowly release up. Pulling knee to chest. Take that yogi toe hold with that right finger. Inhale and extend if that's your practice. Draw that left palm back. And find that gaze. Inhale, sweep it through, drop it down. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, swan dive forward. And pop back up onto those toes, drawing the knees to the chest. Fingertips used for balance. Slowly exhale it down, reaching those glutes to the heels. Draw the chest up, staying on those toes. Hands come to heart center. And as you drop those heels to the floor, extend those hands forward, rock it back. And release, seated forward fold. Flex through those feet. And drop it down. Inhale those fingertips back behind the glutes, press it up in reverse plank. Soles of the feet come to the floor. Exhale it down, sweep it forward one more time, seated forward fold, staff pose. Walk that real estate back. Slowly walk those hands up. Open to that wide position. Now again, you're gonna maybe feel this if you've sat a lot during the week. Those inner thighs nice and tight. So again, be gentle with that body. Maybe just slowly inch forward slightly. Breathing through. Take those palms right between the inner thighs there and just gently bend through the elbow. Reaching that belly towards the floor. Again, not rounding through the spine to get your crown of the head to the floor. We're reaching that belly, again, towards the floor. You'll feel that immediate stretch through those inner thighs, just bending slightly. Listening to where your level of flexibility is. Inhale it up. Slowly draw that right heel into the inner thigh. Readjust, pulling both glutes onto the floor. Crown of the head is raised. Exhale over, reaching those right fingertips towards those left toes. Pulling through, maybe you can reach down for the ankle. Maybe not, maybe you're up here. Maybe this is where we are today. That's totally fine. Now in this posture again, we're reaching that rib cage skyward. Exhale it up, drop that palm to the floor. Inhale, pressing the hand, get that flying angel posture. Reach that left hip up, left arm comes over. Exhale it down, gently rotate through the opposite side. Again, pulling that left knee in now, right foot extended. Rotate through, pulling that real estate back onto the floor. And slowly drop over, reaching that left hand towards the right foot. Looking up underneath that arm. Pulling up through that left rib cage. Exhale it down, drop it to the floor. Inhale as we raise that right hip. Right arm sweeps overhead. And exhale it down. Pull the soles of the feet together. Press those knees towards the floor, reaching the palms, heel of the palms towards your glutes. Again, just raising slightly off the floor, opening through those inner thighs. And slowly release, draw the knees together. Just give yourself a little gentle hug here, releasing that lower back. And take it lengthwise if you aren't on your mat, slowly exhaling down. Drop it to the floor, interlace those fingertips using that yogi toe hold, find that happy baby pose. And just find a couple rocks side to side here, coming into those hips and lower back. And bring it back to neutral. Take those feet skyward, flexing deeply, palms come to the sides. Dropping palms to the floor. And again, just find this waterfall position, lower back pressing into the mat. Belly pulling in towards the spine. Maybe rib cage reaching up towards the shoulders. And when you're ready, drop those knees down. You can either find yourself back in that Shavasana position. Maybe today you want to try just rolling into that side fetal position, cradling the head on that right or left arm. Maybe dropping one of your knees to the floor. Finding a position that's comfortable for you and in your practice. As we find our way back to our breath, the beautiful energy we've created and the heat in our body, and hopefully letting everything else go in our mind for the last hour. Bringing ourselves back to the present moment where we are to return, knowing that we are growing through the adversities in which we're going through right now. And as a world, we will become wiser. We will become stronger. we will be more aware. And I want you also to recognize how the world is shifting. A little less pollution outside. Life is a lot slower. Maybe we're finding things that we've created as necessities and must-dos in our life that over these last few weeks we find out aren't really as important as we thought they were. And finding more time with our animals, with our friends, with our family. Maybe new ways to communicate with our friends, not being able to be close by. And accepting all of that in is not a negative, but just a new view of the world. And letting ourselves grow. As we slowly bring ourselves back into this moment, into this day, rearranging our thoughts, slowly finding ourselves back to a seated position when you're ready. Just taking a little cradle position here, pulling that hip in, wrapping that right elbow around that right knee, dropping the ear to the left shoulder, and slowly and gently releasing, drawing on to the opposite side. And just that last little release. Right ear now dropping to the right shoulder. And slowly dropping down. Chin coming to the chest. Press those palms into the floor by your hips. Even slightly just raising you a ½ inch off the ground. Release down, pulling those shoulders deeply up to the ears. Exhaling down. Chin comes to the chest one last time. Inhale as we round, reaching that gaze skyward. Draw that breath in. Interlace those hands, slightly pulling behind the head. Exhaling back down, drawing them to heart center. Again, remembering the uniqueness of some of the transitions we did today, forcing our practice and our mind to think a little bit differently. And take that forward in this next week as we're challenged for another week. Again, to be out of our comfort zone, not being with friends in the way that we're used to, seeing a lot of our house and our friends and our family, and knowing that this too shall pass and change, and finding the moments of gratitude you can. Namaste. Have a great week.